do it every year. It's like, oh, this team got beat here, so they didn't deserve X, Y, Z.
We deserve to be ranked higher, and we want some respect.
I would love to antagonize people and egg some people on and see what kind of chaos we can have in the stands.
FCS Fans Nation, live. Here we go. Guess who's back? Back again. Griz are back. Tell a friend, undefeated. A great Saturday night matchup leads us into the FCS Fans Nation podcast. Kyler Neal, Jamie Williams, Matt Frazee. Mr. Neal, missed you last week, but here you are. I don't know if you're drinking out of a little brown stein right now or exactly what that beverage is, but it looks tasty. What is that thing?
It is a prickly pear ranch water seltzer.
Prickly pear.
Yeah, I don't think I've drank on the podcast in the last year and a half, but, times are changing because, football sucks. So we're going back to the old ways.
I hope someone's watching on YouTube because you will see, is it basketball season yet? As Kyler's tagline, I think the Eastern Washington Eagles, despite the gear in the background, are very sad. About as sad as I'm going to be probably an hour after this podcast is done and I check your Packers and my Cowboys score.
Put a couple more Packers things up there just to piss you off.
I assume it's already going poorly. I would not know at this point, but it's probably going to be bad.
Just 7-0. You're good.
My guilty pleasure, Big Brother finale's on tonight, so no time for football. Allison and I got that to go. Jamie, how are you?
Pretty good. Sat out in the rain yesterday in Harrisonburg, but, it was worth it. So solid game for my boys. Damn, Kevin, that's not very nice. I just got distracted too by Mr. Marshall's comment. That wasn't very nice. But yeah, doing good. Watched, at the game, watched a lot of football when I got back, had someone in the car listening. So I paid attention, looked at some things today. So ready to roll.
Well, I hope everybody's week of football was great. Again, all of our questions continue to powerfully come through FCS Gold. Questions are guaranteed if you're subscribed onto it. 99 cents a month. Survivor Pool. Every single human survives this week. However, holy moly, Morgan State almost doomed so many people. And NAU did not help out as well. People were at least sweating watching that game. And now we're going to see that we're really into conference play. Jamie Williams' wish. We're going to see very few, if near nobody, playing these D2 or NAIA opponents. So the winner of that's going to get a $50 gift card. Still time to subscribe to FCS Gold, which will automatically get you an opportunity to do the playoff challenge, which as well can win you a $50 Visa gift card. And we, of course, are... What are they called, Kyler? Renegade, right? What do you got?
Yeah, Renegade. What a setup, Matt. Jesus.
Yeah, one hell of a segue.
Yeah, let's go.
Segue.
Everyone drink Renegade Hydrate. What is it called? Screw it. Who cares?
Screw it.
Let's go. Let's go for another trolling ad read just because, this is the only fun I can have this season since my team absolutely stinks. So this time we're going to troll one of my own. Eastern got beat 57-3. That's not a loss. That's a public execution. Sac State thought they were FBS ready, then tripped over Cal Poly. You don't climb conferences when you can't even climb out of San Luis Obispo. Both programs folded faster than their highlight reels. That's why there's Renegade Hydrate. More powerful than their offenses, more backbone than their defenses, and unlike them, it actually shows up when it matters. Renegade Hydrate, carrying the big sky on its back since no one else can. That's all I got for them. So everyone, go drink some Renegade Hydrate because you know what? It tastes delicious. It actually does work. I drink it now every morning. If I'm hungover, might as well. And this whole season, I think there's going to be a lot of that. So I might have to go buy another pack here real soon.
Dang. Well, you absolutely. I'm looking forward every single week to those style of sponsorships. Thanks, Renegade, for sponsoring the show. I should say we forced Dallas to let us mention his product. We get 0 pennies from him. He's just a good guy. Go support his business. He's got some great stuff going. That being said, we have some great topics to get to. Let's not take any more time.
What are FCS fans talking and posting about nonstop? It's time for the top 6 topics of the week.
And here we go, guys. Jordan and Dylan, kind of some combo questions, which brings us into the main topic. And of course, our podcast name tonight, the Griz Tier 1 ? Do we actually have to admit Montana might be solid this year, says Jordan. And Dylan wants to know, when will close-ish losses finally impact Idaho and drop them lower in the rankings? Gives us a good opportunity to react to some Saturday night fun out there in the big sky. Montana getting the W over Idaho. And Kyler, you're back with us. Eastern's not doing great, but you know the big sky better than anybody. Thoughts on that Montana win, them as a whole, in Idaho?
Yeah, I mean, Montana looks good, but the question is, should we, give them a little more respect or, finally admit that they were good? I mean, they've been in my top 5 all season, I'm pretty sure. So it's like, what more do you expect? Do I think they're a top 4 team? Probably not. Can they be? Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say this Montana team has the ability to maybe make it to the semis, maybe even a championship game, depending on who they're getting matched up with. Now, are they a legit contender when you're comparing them to NDSU? I don't know. NDSU looks like they are kind of elite and on their own, but outside of them, it looks like this Montana team can go probably toe-to-toe with the Montana State, possibly with a South Dakota State. I'm not sure on that yet either. We'd have to see how it lines up. But, I mean, this is a very good football team, and they're a top 5 team for a reason. And I think if you're a top 5 team, yeah, you're a damn good football team. This year, they finally have some offensive weapons, which is pretty exciting. Now, I hate to see it because one of our best offensive weapons last year is with Montana, with Michael Wortham. He's that Swiss Army knife. He's returning stuff, putting them in great field position. They have a slew of running backs. I mean, you look at Gilman. He's elite. He's been elite for years. Then you pair that up with Wortham in the backfield. I mean, it's just they got a lot of different weapons that maybe they didn't have in the last few years. And it also seems like, Ayat is starting a little bit of momentum. He's had some ups and downs even throughout this season, but he's getting more comfortable in the pocket. And this is going to be a tough team to beat. Again, I don't know if they're an NDSU type of championship material yet, but I mean, who is? And if you're not, they're going to be one of those top teams up there who has the ability to potentially contend for them. And the season's still long. It's only, a third way through the season. If they can continue to improve, maybe be a little bit more efficient on offense, which they already are pretty efficient as it is, but get a little bit better, get a little bit gelled up. Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch in the playoffs.
I mean, they're going to be really interesting if they run the table. We kind of gotten a rut, I think, this season of being like, what if this team runs the table? And maybe we do it every season early, but we don't always have Montana Griz schedules in the big sky. And God bless them, they're playing well. I don't mean this to be overly insulting, but if you're going to give Tarleton crap, and I'm not saying Idaho is a better win than anything Tarleton's done, and the Griz beating UND is better than anything Tarleton's done, I guess if you want to call it a bad Army team. But the Griz remaining schedule, losses, Idaho State, Cal Poly, Sacred Heart, Sac State, who sucks, Weber, Washington, Portland State, and then they host the Cats. I mean, you can say they're not tier 1, this or that, but I don't see a lot of losses on the schedule, if any, except for the Bobcats at the end, and they host them. If Montana runs the table, we've been talking about what if Tarleton lines up against a one-loss NDSU, SDSU. These guys run the table. I mean, the possibilities could be endless for the Griz, and who wants to go there in December? Right. Nobody. Jamie, you love the winners. Your thoughts on these two? I'm also, just to quickly put in there, I said I wasn't really sold on Idaho before. Could still be a playoff team, but I don't see them past the second round. Just not enough consistency and firepower. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think Idaho's been what they have been the last few years, and I haven't really seen it change. They get competitive with these top-tier FBS, maybe not top-tier, but these FBS programs, and then throughout the FCS, they're kind of what we think they are, a quarterfinal max type of caliber team. That's probably where they are, a first round, second round. If they get, hot, then maybe they can make it to the quarters, but that's about all they've been the last few years on their most successful years. And I haven't seen anything that's going to change my mind about it. Yeah, I appreciate you, Kevin. I agree. So we're transferring the SoCon. You want another bottom feeder? We'll take it.
Yeah. So my side, I mean, Montana, they're absolutely a legit contender. Like a legit contender for what? Certainly a trip to Nashville. Certainly a contender for a semifinal spot. I'm not going to sit there and say they're on plane with NDSU, but I mean, we talk about, Tarleton's going to run the table, like you said, Matt, but Montana has already has 2 better wins than what Tarleton has. So that's going to be reflected. Montana's going to be my number 3 team.
Yeah. They're going top 3. Huh?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I could make the argument of them over South Dakota State, but I'm not ready to do that just because, they did play Central Washington, which is kind of like playing Mercyhurst. But Drake, they've got to win over North Dakota. They've got to win over Idaho. I mean, that's better as far as a win goes than anything Tarleton has, and that does include Army, who's not very good. So yeah, I mean, and then you talk about the cupcake of their schedule, because again, we like to give Kevin hell, and he likes to give us hell, but he's damn right about these big conferences and how they set up their schedules. I mean, and maybe the Big Sky gave Montana the CAA treatment and just give them all the cream puffs because that's their biggest draw.
Or is this more of a reality? Outside of 3 teams, the Big Sky is cream puff this year.
Oh, that's also true too. And then to flip that around on the other side on Idaho, I think he asked, when are we going to start looking at Idaho's close losses? One, I don't really consider this a close loss. I consider it a little bit of a late comeback. But you consider it now because the other close losses were to FBS teams. And if one play goes each way in each of those games, that goes the opposite way, then they have FBS wins on their ledger. And then you're like, oh, how good is Montana to beat a team that has 2 FBS wins? Newsflash, we've been saying before, an FBS win or loss means this much to the FCS. I can go over and over. Look at the JMU team that beat Virginia Tech. I'll say it every episode until it drills into people's head that it doesn't matter. Virginia Tech didn't lose again until they lost to Andrew Luck in the Orange Bowl, and we went 6-5. It's great. You get up, you have a little bit of a different game plan that you're not going to show anywhere else. And it's just, good for Idaho to play competitive in those games, but now's when we really start, measuring them. And I know people love Joshua Wood. I think he's a really good athlete, but I think he's got a lot of development to do. I mean, 14 out of 28 ain't going to do it, but a lot of credit to the Griz defense there. And I do need to give a shout out before we go on to the next question to Kiali Ayat, because I know I've been pretty critical of him. He has been really solid, especially since the second half of that North Dakota game. And he, along with Eli Gilman, are the reason that they're rolling right now. Eli Gilman is an absolute stud back. Bell cow, 3 down, 4 down back if you need it. And then if you really want to throw Michael Wortham in there, great. But Gilman can carry the load all day.
Yeah.
The Griz certainly seem to be a team that is on the rise in Jamie's top 3. And right now, I think we're willing to say if they're capable of running their schedule, will be a tough out and a semifinal team into December. But we got a lot of football coming up before we can just crown people and make those sort of predictions. Okay, guys, Kyler Elliott, the best Kyler, as we say every single week. He says, do we foresee any good games for the Dakotas and Montanas for the remainder of the season besides their head-to-head? Okay, so we're looking at all these teams and we're thinking, we kind of just covered Montana. And if you discount the head-to-head of them and the Cats, I don't think any of us are going to see a game that the Griz where it's going to be predicted to be a good game. Yes, there will always be one that surprises us. Maybe they get upset. But at face value right now, the Griz look to be easy home cooking. In terms of the Bobcats, though, I pull their schedule up and I'll get it up on the screen. Do we think the Bobcats are going to be tested the rest of the way out? And I know we have a question, so don't get too many in the details. That's coming up next about their next opponent. But beyond what they might see next week, Jamie, what do you think on the Cats?
On the Cats, yeah, they've got a challenging game next week against a really solid offense. Like I said, I'll make more points later on that game. UC Davis looks pretty good. They've moved the ball quite a bit. We'll see what they are at the end of the year. So Montana State, yeah, they'll get some challenge. I don't know that they lose any of those games, but they'll definitely have some challenge. If you want to talk about the Dakota States, I say, they both played North Dakota. I believe they both played at the post office.
They
so
do.
you never know there. And then I believe only NDSU plays Southern Illinois, but they get them in Fargo. But Southern Illinois looks really good. Other than that, I don't see a whole lot of challenge. And sorry to anybody who thinks South Dakota should be a challenge for South Dakota State. That's not going to happen. South Dakota should not be ranked, no matter what some knucklehead on a podcast thinks, even though they got a bad team.
I tell you, I've been saying that to Bison fans this weekend at the game. They're like, we got to see Brookings. I get that. But I kept telling them, I think Southern Illinois is going to be that team that pokes at NDSU a little bit, even in Fargo. I like the senior quarterback. I like the way they're playing on both sides of the ball. It's a Valley team with experience. I don't think the Dome's going to shock them by any means. So I think Southern Illinois actually is going to give a little bit of difficulty there. When you look at this Cats schedule, you see anything, Kyler, here for the Cats that's going to throw them off, not including next week, like that UC Davis, that give you any pause at all before they hit the Griz?
I mean, I don't see a loss on here until maybe that Montana game, but there's going to be a couple games that can give Montana State fits. We saw not this last week, but the week prior, Montana State offense did struggle, right? So now people are thinking Mercyhurst is way better than Eastern, but then Mercyhurst got round robin by South Dakota State, so it is what it is. But we saw Montana State struggle. They've had a little bit of ups and downs. So you can maybe get I'm not saying Idaho State's going to go in there and upset Montana State. It's probably still going to be a 21-plus game. But Idaho State, if they are gelling, they do have a fun offense to watch. And there is a chance against an NAU, against an Idaho State, where maybe they just aren't as prepped defensively to handle that type of an offense, and it becomes a little bit closer game than we were anticipating, right? Because we even saw that last year with Montana State. They're blowing through everyone, and then they ran into Eastern Washington that actually gave them a game, and Eastern sucked because it was a different offense. They weren't mentally prepped for them, and we actually gave them a game. We did not this year. They made up for that and made it a statement. But there is a couple different offenses in the Big Sky that can give some troubles. Probably won't beat them. So the Griz game's definitely the ones circled and scheduled. As for the Dakotas, you guys already mentioned it. My only one is, maybe North Dakota can pick up a little bit, but Southern Illinois is kind of the only one I'm looking at. I don't think Illinois State's going to give North Dakota State any trouble. But if I'm outside of the marker game, the only ones I'm really looking at is really that Southern Illinois. I think they have a shot. They were even pretty competitive against Purdue. And then they've kind of blown out everyone else, right? They haven't really had a close matchup. So I'm excited to see that big game. It's a month away. But maybe North Dakota can make it a little interesting too. Again, I don't think it probably is, because I think the two SDSUs and NDSUs are better than the Montanas right now. So even if there's maybe a Southern Illinois that is more competitive than another Big Sky school, it's probably not going to look like it's as competitive if they're going against the Bison team, who probably is going to steamroll everyone this year.
And South Dakota State really benefits from what NDSU did last year. It seems to be a flip-flop between those two with Valley scheduling. I know Thumper's always in on that, which is, hey, South Dakota State's basically going to travel on the road to very few of the good conference opponents. And now you can discount USD on that department. I don't care if it's a rivalry game. USD is not going to stack up with them. So, yeah, outside of that UND, where somehow the Fighting Hawks tend to just play out of their minds at home and then just crap the bed when they hit the road, I don't see South Dakota State really struggling with much at all. Murray State, Indiana State, Northern Iowa is not going into Brookings to win. So overall, I hate to say it, but besides the head-to-heads, to answer Elliot's question, there's not going to be a lot there. We're going to see kind of a, dare I say, a 4-team playoff in the regular season to see who's going to come on top to get that home field advantage. It's going to be interesting to watch it all play out. And I would not expect a lot of drama week in and week out as these teams hit the road and they hit deeper into conference play. So, we're going to get on to that team that we kind of crapped on a little bit. But Jordan wants to know, have we finally figured out USD, which is South Dakota? Are they just not a good Missouri Valley team this year? Or do they think they're still a bubble playoff team? Will they still be ranked in the top 25 polls this week? I'd love to get your opinion on that, Jamie, with the polls. I was at the game this week, and guys, I'm telling you, whatever they had last year, I judge every team when they run out against NDSU. I go, are they big or are they small? And then I basically just call the game, and I've done that for over a decade. That was one of the smallest Valley teams I've seen in a long time. It was sad to see the impacts of the portal, and graduation is natural, but clearly what they had on those lines is completely different in a 180 this season. I had messaged out to the group that I think their defensive ends could have been safeties at SDSU. Like, I see Jersey on the offensive line, like, flapping outwards as they're standing there. Like, there was room for the jersey in between the skin. And I don't mean to be insensitive. It's just like South Dakota. And then that running back, Charles, right? He had like 4 touchdowns against Drake. That is a 0 impact player. He was super short, not quick. And maybe NDSU is just that good, but I don't think so. I think USD has very little to offer on both lines. The playmakers are not good, and there's nothing impressive in terms of their ability to do anything against North Dakota State. They are not a playoff team. They're certainly not top 25. And finally, after being preseason ranked top 4 and us going back and forth, and this is just not going to be a good team this year. And I will be shocked to see them anywhere near playoff caliber. Aiden Bowman does not look good. I mean, he has no time behind that offensive line anyways. But overall, the Coyotes, just not a solid team this year. Jamie, what do you think will happen with them in the top 25 in comparison to what you think?
What I think, well, I don't have them ranked. I didn't have them ranked for a couple weeks because they don't look like a rankable team to me. But of course, we know you've got your slot voters in the stats poll. So will they still be in the poll? Well, they're 17 this week. Only 2 teams behind them lost. Maybe actually just 1, actually. Only Sacramento State, I believe, lost that is behind them. So from 17, they are not falling out of the poll because of slot voting. They're out of my poll. They're going to stay out of my poll. I don't care what some anonymous dude from their fan podcast says that they're a rankable team. No, they're freaking not. They're not a good team. The problem's going to be they're going to go win their next 3 games over really, really subpar competition.
I'm not sold they beat. I don't think they win at Northern Iowa.
They might not.
No, they might lose those last 5 games.
But
Northern Iowa stinks.
They're going to lose. They might lose their last 4 for sure. But what's going to happen? Let's say they do win all 3. Guess what? They're going to be ranked number 11 or 12 or 10 because they'll just move up because everybody else moves instead of paying attention by 60% of the voters, and it's going to be like, oh, they're back. Look how good they've looked against Murray State and Indiana State. Yeah. Well, the 3 of us and 8 of our good friends could go do that too against Murray State and Indiana State and just be fine. I just don't see anything for South Dakota. And I'm not going to crap on Bauman. Now, he hasn't played great. He doesn't have a lot of time to throw, so he's throwing off his back foot, but he raises a lot of money for Alex Lemonade's stand, and if you want to help a good cause, go donate to Alex Lemonade's stand. You could vote on behalf of Aiden Bauman's name or quite a few other really good players that Kevin and Stone have contracted with to help fight childhood cancer. So continue helping in that great cause. Rev has a phenomenal way that he's deciding his donation. I still haven't figured out mine, but there's going to be a donation from me in some way, shape, or form. I know we're start getting late early. Figure something out. I'm definitely going to make sure I support Alex Lemonade's stand, support Kevin and Stone and all that. So just a little extra note there outside of the South Dakota while we're talking about a good guy, Aiden Bauman, who we all got a chance to meet. He's just not playing well, and neither is his team.
Well, I don't know what honestly, clearly Aiden Bauman has shown he's capable of being a quality quarterback in the FCS. And I'll just double down here. The receivers short, ball. Nothing impressive about the offensive line. Like on any level, the defensive line gets 0 push. The corners they're tiny, they're small. It looks like a team where I'm not sure what class these guys are, but you can tell they lost everything from last year, and they're just putting guys on the field to get something out there. And at the end of the day, this is the difference between these big programs that probably should all be in the Mountain West, where they have the depth to survive turnover or the money to keep these guys around. And USD just does not. And sadly, these are the impacts. So Unless Kyler has any extra things on that, we can move right into.
I don't even remember what the question was.
Yeah, it
What
was.
the
We were talking about
South
South Dakota.
It was just like rip on
no,
South
here,
Dakota.
I only want to add one point. Everyone probably should have taken them out of their top 25 after that Lamar loss. And if you didn't there, because maybe you still had hope, after they were competitive versus Northern Colorado, who should have won, they got stopped on the 1 yard line 3 times by running the exact same play. That was a coaching mistake. Northern Colorado is better than South Dakota. I truly believe that, and Northern Colorado absolutely stinks. So if you didn't take them out of that after a close win overtime against Northern Colorado, well, then you probably shouldn't be voting in the national poll. That's kind of what I'm saying. So now here's the deal. If they win the next 5 in a row, I would be more than happy to put them back in my poll, but I'm not after they beat a Murray State. I'm not after they beat an Indiana State. I got to see what they do, not after they beat, Northern Iowa, if they even do. I got to see what they do against an Illinois State, against a North Dakota. And if you go through the next 5, hey, cool. Good. The good news about football is one game doesn't define a season. That's the beautiful thing, not in the playoffs where there's 24 teams, right? One game does not define a season, but you got multiple games that will define it. So now you got to really put the pressure on. You got to win your next 5 games before you hit the gauntlet. And even 2 of those games are in the gauntlet. So be prepared, South Dakota, if you want respect and you want to make the playoffs. But I don't see it. They're not a top 25 team. I think they're closer to 80 than they are to 25.
I would not disagree based off what I saw. Last one Bison complaint tonight. People say the problem with the Bison fans is they're losing enthusiasm and they crap on the FCS. Every time we get a big, huge win, everyone goes, well, we'll see what happens when the marker shows up. Yeah, that's fun. The entire FCS community is just like, we'll wait until that one game to judge you. But I guess that's where we are with the Bison. There's no point of even talking about them until there's one game a season.
Can I reply to Kevin real quick? Kevin, after Eastern lost to Incarnate Word, I said Incarnate Word sucks. And I took him out of my poll after a win because I knew how bad Eastern is. So
I will. Yeah. Kyler needs to be defended here. Kyler's like one of the best friends of the Incarnate Word dudes, the Zachs, the Andrews.
He said they suck right to their face.
And he's been mean to them. So there you go. Someone Kyler's been mean to as well has been little Northern Arizona, who hasn't been as sold on him. And Brexton brings us question number 4. We got Montana State traveling to Northern Arizona next week. What are your predictions for this intriguing matchup? And what are the keys for Northern Arizona to pull off the upset? All right, now let's get into the details, gentlemen. What are the keys to the game, Kyler Neal? What can NAU do, right? They are what? Thousands of miles above sea level? Is that true?
Not thousands of miles, thousands of feet. But yeah, they're 7,200 feet, somewhere around that above sea level. It is a tough place to play. Good thing is that they're in a dome, so it's not outside. They're probably pumping some oxygen through that dome.
Playing real football.
So the fans, 100% real football played in a dome. Again, I've hated on NAU. And the reason why I've hated on them is because they have all the resources in the world to be a top-tier caliber team in the FCS. Beautiful, beautiful town. I love Flagstaff. It is a real college town. Giant school of 30,000 kids. They have great facilities. They're in a good recruiting hotbed to where they're right next to Vegas. They're down in Phoenix. You can get to Salt Lake. You can get to California. Shoot, you can even go down to Texas if you want West Texas. It's a really good recruiting bed, and yet they just have not been what they should be. So that's why I shit on them all the time. But NAU is looking really good, right? This year, maybe I was wrong. I said they really need to start winning games before I really, they earned to be in anyone's top 25 in the preseason, because I didn't think they were a playoff caliber team last year, and it showed in the playoffs. They just got rewarded for an easy schedule. This is going to be a true test, though. I don't even know who has NAU played so far this year. I haven't looked it up. But, I mean, they've won every game besides their FBS opponent. They are looking strong. Their offense is looking phenomenal. Ty Pennington, he has 10 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He's really holding on to the ball. They're pushing the ball down the field. They look really efficient on offense. Their defense looks better than it has in the last few years as well. I get they had that, shootout with Southern Utah, but other than that, their defenses look fairly strong compared to the years prior. So I don't know. I don't think this game's going to be very close. I mean, NAU's lucky it is at home and not at Montana State. That is going to benefit them a little bit. but I still have a feeling that this is going to be a 10+ point win for Montana State. I just think they're going to grind it down on the run, and NAU is really not going to have too many answers for them, and they're just going to be able to kind of walk them down and tire them out in Flagstaff, which is pretty impressive. But looking at the rest of the schedule, I mean, NAU, it looks like they have kind of a favorable next few games. I like them versus UC Davis, surprisingly. I like them against a shootout in Idaho State. NAU looks like a playoff caliber team, which is kind of exciting if you're the Lumberjacks fan. But, I would say we're probably looking at a 42-28 type of game, favoring Montana State. That's kind of my prediction.
Yeah, I like the Bobcats here too because defensively, NAU, despite some of the opponents, which could be question marks, they're 68th in total defense in the FCS, and they're 20th in total offense. And if I'm looking at the Bobcats, and I know they lost to South Dakota State, that SDSU defense is still pretty damn good. And you put up 24 points against the Jackrabbits, I think you're going to be able to move the ball and get some points on the 68th ranked defense in Northern Arizona. So keys to the game, NAU has to take advantage of turnovers and score. Now, how you score against a Bobcat defense that in the last three games,
not giving up anything.
Yeah, Ron literally made the point that they've given up 3 points, 10 points total in their last 3 games. Now it's Mercyhurst, San Diego, and Eastern Washington, but defense is still finding its vibe. The more balanced team with the better coaching, and everything points to Montana State. So to me, it is one of those make it a hard environment, turnovers, get Montana State uncomfortable type of games. You have to capitalize in the first quarter with a first quarter lead and have the crowd into it for NAU to sustain and upset the Bobcats. It's going to take a lot of those factors. Jamie, any faith? I'll take the Bobcats 31-17. What do you got, Jamie?
I think it's pretty much in line with what Kyler said as far as what I think the score is going to be. And I like Ty Pennington a lot. I've been on Northern Arizona pretty much all season. I still think they're a really good team. I just think Montana State's better because of what they do well, which is run the ball. And guess what? Northern Arizona doesn't do that well. Stop the run. I mean, if you go look back, even Portland State went 4.5 yards of carry on them. It's just, even if they, not as good a team, but, they still went 4.5 yards of carry. The game against, Southern Utah, they had it kind of in control and let the Thunderbirds back in, but that's, what the Thunderbirds do, unfortunately, this year. Lost another one on the last play of the game yesterday. But, yeah, I mean, I did like the resilience in that game that I saw from Northern Arizona on the road after blowing a late lead, giving up 28 straight points or something like that, and then coming right back down the field. And I like the cojones of the coach to go for 2 to win the game instead of just take the tie and go to overtime in a game that they had kind of lost momentum in. So I feel like Northern Arizona, they're not scared. They're going to go toe-to-toe. They're gonna move the ball a little bit on Montana State. I just don't know that they can stop the run, and I think that's going to be the difference in the game.
Sorry, NAU.
If you are looking to go to a game that's not from the big schools like a Montana, I would recommend go up to Flagstaff. It is a cool location, cool town, cool campus, cool atmosphere. That's my only shout out for NAU before I start to say they suck again. They'll lose to Pioneer League football team in the playoffs. But
he will never let the San Diego loss go.
It's multiple. That's why.
Yeah. There's a pattern. One time is fine. It's when there's a pattern we have an issue. Okay. The Rev, we were gonna bring the Rev in as a guest speaker here, but I asked him, "Hey, I think you're in Ohio this week, right? So you can't make it?" And he was like, "No, I'm at home on my couch. I don't like you guys, and I didn't have fun last week, so I don't want to be on there and screw you guys. I'm just not a fan." And I said, "Okay, sounds good, buddy." But he still did ask a question, and so did the great Alex. So we're going into the Southland, and shout out the Southland Sermon. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel to catch the Rev. All right, here you go. Alex says, how do the chips have to fall in the Southland at this point for it to be a 2-bid league, if at all? And the Rev did say, how important is SFA an incarnate word for determining the Southland championship? Some notes from the Rev. He said, read these messages, then lose my number, is what he said. He said Lamar is still the best team. SLU is sneaky good. And I'll get your guys' thoughts before I give you his comments on Incarnate Word SFA. What do you got, Jamie? The Southland, the mystery conference, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's starting to look about like the UAC, where you got a bunch of teams that might be pretty good, and you don't really know what they are. I like what I'm seeing from Lamar. Like he said, they made that game against Central Arkansas yesterday way closer than it had to be. They let them kind of walk back into that, and that's not a good Central Arkansas team. How do the chips have to fall in the Southland for a two-bid league? I'm not sure that it's the Southland that you have to watch the chips to fall. I think you got to watch the middle of the Big Sky and the second, third, fourth team in the CAA to open up a potential spot. I just don't know if there's going to be enough horsepower as far as out of conference wins from from anybody outside of Lamar. And we just talked about how bad the team they beat that's ranked is. So I don't know if there's much of an opportunity unless you have two teams that go whatever and one in conference play, 7-1 in conference play. How important is SFA at UIW? Pretty important as long as that winner beats Lamar. Otherwise, you did all that work for maybe nothing. I like what I'm seeing from a bunch of teams in the Southland. I just don't know if there's going to be enough there when time comes to make decisions to have that be a two-bid league. And I really thought it was going to be a two-bid league. But the way it started, I'm not quite sure that's going to be the case. Although I did like Incarnate Word's win over Abilene Christian. So, that helps. But, they've got a couple of other ones that make you question. And we didn't even talk about Nichols.
A flash in the pan is what Rev says in the messages with them. So he thinks it's Lamar, SFA, SLU, and Incarnate Word at the top. Nichols is a flash in the pan. Conference champion has to be the big impact here, right? Like that has to matter, Kyler. Is that who actually, could one of the teams with the worst record, or not as good record, but wins the conference, and then somebody else with actually more wins because of out of conference could be the second bid? Or am I crazy for thinking like that?
Probably a little crazy thinking one of their bad teams is going to win the conference. The best way for them to get two bids is if they are in the middle of the season, just merge with the Valley, do something like that, flip a coin, get two teams in there, merge with the Valley, merge with the UAC, then automatically you get two teams. But no, I think most teams outside of SLU, you could put probably SFA in there, Lamar. I don't even know if I'm putting Incarnate Word in there, maybe if they win out and win their conference. But those are really the only three that are still kind of in playoff contention. When I'm looking at the rest of the Southland, I think, Incarnate Word kind of screwed themselves if they don't win their conference. I think they're already out. So, I mean, right now that's really tough. They got to win out the rest of the league, and then maybe they'll be able to, jump into the playoffs. But, yeah, it's between those three teams, SLU, SFA, and kind of Lamar. And we'll have to see what goes on. I get, Rio Grande Valley is 4-1. They are already out of the playoffs in my mind. They finally played a team and got beat. No more D2 teams, D3 teams, but I love them in the future, and I think they're going to be a fun program to watch. So right now, you kind of have a three teams at the top, and you're going to have to round robin each other. Really, that's the goal, to maybe get two teams, and like Jamie said, root for some chaos. I don't think the Big Sky's deserving of 5 teams this year. Right. So that should open up a bid. I don't think the CA is deserving of 3 teams. That should open up a bid. They'll probably get 3 because of their schedules, because they're even bigger than the Big Sky. But you want to root for some more chaos in those 2 conferences to open up some slots. The good news is SoCon kind of hurt themselves a little bit. Sorry, Kevin. But that's going to free up a slot. So I think the Southland still has an opportunity to get 2. You really just got to round robin each other if you're those 3 teams, and then beat everyone else. That's kind of going to be the goal.
And when you talk about the round robin, just remember that Incarnate Word does already have a conference loss to Nichols. So that means they almost do have to run it the rest.
I think
of the
Nichols
way.
has to win out. They lost to NAU. They lost to Nichols. They have to win out. Yeah. Other than that, we'll see.
Rev says, short answer, SFA versus Incarnate Word impacts the conference championship because Incarnate Word cannot afford another loss. They lose one
Exactly.
more, and the playoffs are done. So there you
I don't
go.
know if that affects the conference championship. I mean, sure, in the grand scheme of things, every game does, I guess. But I think those other three teams we mentioned are going to impact it more than SFA versus UIW.
Yeah, to be fair, though, Rev's kind of coming at it from the whole Southland perspective. As your hat shows and my flag shows, we are just biased SFA fans.
Big SFA fans. We're rooting
Who
for
will
them to go to
say-
the playoffs.
We will say anything to get SFA into the playoffs because that's what we're hoping for. All right, guys. Final one in the top 6 here. Really love these questions. Cody Werlinger rounds it out with a great one. 5 weeks in, which team has overachieved? We're 5 weeks into it. Going to pull the stats top 25 ranking poll up on the screen, and you guys let me know who you think has been your overachiever so far in the season. Jamie, we have to start with you. You're our stats top 25 voter. What is that team for you that is just impressing the heck out of you?
I've got 2.
Let me say one because you're going to steal one of mine. You probably
Okay.
are right now.
Happens every time.
I think you're going to steal it right now.
All right, I'll probably will.
Well, if Kyler's got one, should we?
Why don't you
him
let
go first?
Kyler go first, and I'll take
Okay.
the other one.
All
I'll
right.
steal one of his because I know what he's going to say. Because this was one of Jamie's 128 teams, 130 teams. I think the easiest answer of all time is West Georgia. By far, the easiest answer of all time. They have overperformed. I mean, they beat ETSU, they beat Sanford, they beat Nichols, they beat Eastern Kentucky, then they beat Jamie's favorite team, Southern Utah. And this was a team that, in the very beginning of the preseason episode, I think they were ranked 128 or something.
They're pretty
ridiculous.
far. They weren't that far down, but they're pretty far down.
Pretty far down because Jamie will go, hey, if you're new here, we're just ranking you at the bottom until you earn your stripes. Well, look at them. Holy crap. What a jump. I mean, go West
75.
Georgia. 75. Hey, that's still pretty far. And now they're, probably peaking somewhere in the top 15, right around there, which is pretty phenomenal to see. And that's really exciting for, the south of the FCS. We've been wanting some Southern teams to really just jump up there and make a splash. And now you have Tarleton, you have West Georgia. This is going to be some fun football coming up. So that's my big one. Let's give a big shout out to West Georgia. What they're doing this year is pretty impressive. Now, what's the rest of the schedule like? Because they play Awesome P. That's going to be a fun one. That's the true test of this season. But then after that, Abilene Christian, Tarleton, Central Arkansas, North Alabama, and Utah Tech. They got 3 really fun games coming up. And that's the make it or break it. Let's see if this West Georgia team is on this upward trajectory, or are they going to run into the gauntlet that is Awesome P, who's playing phenomenal, Abilene Christian, who did just lose, or Tarleton, who looks like the best team in the OAC. Those are 3 extremely tough games. But that's my team. That's the one that I think deserves tons of props.
I'm so curious, Jamie. Was that one of the 2?
Yep.
There we go. I knew it.
That's actually the one I was going to pick until
I knew it.
That's the one Kyler has. On West Georgia, Davin Widener at quarterback is good, not great, but he makes the plays that needs to be made when it needs to be made. 3rd and 6, he's getting you 7. Down inside the 5, he's going to put it in the end zone, and he did it yesterday. Now, the team I'm going to say is the team I've been high on all year, and I hope they just keep rolling because then I'll look really damn good. I'm going to go with Tennessee Tech.
Yeah.
Just Kikoos Vesperis has been good. Bobby Water, I'll say it every week, is a really good coach. I can say that now that he's not at ODU anymore. But I have to go with Tennessee Tech because I've been on that horse this year, and I've got them probably higher than most everybody else. I would guess. I mean, I've got them in the top 10.
The only game they may lose is Kentucky. How they're playing right now, they are.
Yeah, that's how it looks.
Everyone.
They're kind of doing what NDSU is doing. They're not playing a massively good schedule, but they are hammering people, and it's phenomenal. They look really good. They got a couple of good running backs. They got a defense that can play. That team is going to give somebody trouble. Now, are they going to even make the quarterfinals? Outside chance, but once they get into the tougher competition, I don't see much for them. But yeah, it's a good team.
Then Matt has to talk about the only other elephant in the room of a team that should be mentioned.
I bet I could give you 3 guesses. I bet you couldn't guess mine. But before I say that, the FCS is fun this year.
I was going to say Furman.
Listen, here's the thing. Everyone complains that it'll be the same team and same this, but Jamie and I were talking pre-show, like how many teams are undefeated right now or one loss. Like you can say one team's just going to win it all and these will be the semis, but we really don't know 5 weeks in because there's been so much success. I think last year, maybe the year before, it's kind of been like, look at all these junk teams and a few. Like this is going to be a fun season. So I hope people, even if you're looking forward to basketball like Kyler, I hope people are excited about what's coming. Okay, here you go. Off the wall, but I was pumped about this question. Let me, you ready for this? I'm going to take you back a decade. And I could go way back from a decade because I do the FCS team series every summer. Here's a decade. This is Kenny Carter's time at Delaware State in 3 seasons. 3-30. Okay? Then you get Rod Milstead in there. From 2018 to 2022, he goes a whopping 3-8, 2-10, 2-3, 5-6, 5-6 for 17 wins. And then Lee Hall in the last 2 seasons prior to this season goes 2-21 at Delaware State. What I'm telling you is 2 of the last 3 coaches over the last decade at Delaware State, they achieved equal or less than the amount of wins that Deshaun Jackson has Delaware State at right now with 3 freaking victories. I wish they lost a close game yesterday. It would have been awesome if they were at 4 for that stat to be even cooler. But there you go. In the MEAC, Deshaun Jackson overachieved. Who was picking him
You just jinxed them. They're going to get murdered by Monmouth. They're just going to get steamrolled.
Deshaun.
One of their wins is Bowie State.
Come on.
They should have lost to Alba.
Did you? This is overachieved. You're talking the last decade of history.
You know their coach. It's not overachieving
Not
when you play a
personally.
weak schedule and you get an NFL Hall of Famer type of guy recruiting for you. They should be better.
If
That's
they
what I'm
win
gonna say.
3
They
more
shouldn't.
games, Kyler, it's the most wins they've had since
Ever.
2012. Like we're going way back. The Bison had 2 titles then.
That
is
doesn't mean it's
wild.
good.
I'm just
Look,
saying.
if they
Monmouth
hadn't
is going
given,
to steamroll them.
No way.
if they hadn't given up the last whatever it was 18 points yesterday, and they were had that win, I would be on that wagon, and it's a
Same.
solid point. It's a solid point, but you just can't give up the last the 18 points to freaking Sacred Heart.
They had it made, and then they lost.
Well, I'm sorry.
They do have a nice run game.
I can't
They do.
just go out there and talk about Presbyterian over and
Good
over and
goal.
over again.
There you go. Talk about them.
Oh, wow. We are going to talk about them literally right now.
Taco King, coming to you from bright and sunny Fargo, North Dakota. It's time for a taco bet, and time for you losers to pay up.
Okay. Presby. No one's loved them more than the FCS community. Here you go. Will Jamie rank Presbyterian this week? That's the question from Rev that sets up the taco bet. And the taco bet is going to be with a currently ranked number 25 Presbyterian. Over or under in the rankings, 22.5 for their ranking this upcoming week. Now, here's the thing. Sacramento State should drop out. And South Dakota should drop out. Okay? Beyond that, there's no team below Presby that goes all the way down that would be worthy of dropping really behind them at 25 because either they were on a bye or they won. So you have 2 teams who should, but will the voters go that way? So here you go, Jamie. The floor is yours. 22.5 over or under.
They're at 25 now. They're probably going to go to 23. Would be my guess because I think a bunch of people are going to throw Incarnate Word right back in there since they would beat Abilene Christian, which fine if you want to do that. Am I going to rank Presbyterian? I was going to say definitely not. But if you look at the 2 Southern Conference teams they beat, neither one of them have lost to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
they look better against Morehead State than Austin Peay. I might have to go there. I wasn't thinking I was going to, but then as you do the research and really look at the body of their work, and I get it, their strength of schedule is 126 because of the 2 sub D1 games. But if you just look at the FCS games, there's not a lot of 3-win teams. There's really not. And I might put them in there. They might be 24-25. We'll see when I get really through it. But I am almost convincing myself that they should slide in there. So yeah, definitely rankable. If people want to put them in there, go for it. It's a good story. They could win the Pioneer with that offense. I know they play St. Thomas. I don't know if they play San Diego. They don't. So St.
Thomas are probably their best bet.
Yeah, those would be the
they
only.
Don't even play Drake.
Yeah, so yeah, they got the cream. I mean, they got Butler in 2 weeks. So they got a bye week.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
So
let's
you're going 23 then.
I'm going to go 23. They wind up at 23 because I think South Dakota's not going to drop below them because slot voting. That should be the Taco Bet there. Does South Dakota drop out or below Presbyterian?
I don't
Sacramento
want you to be
State's got to get out of there. But then does somebody jump them like an incarnate word that is right there on the outside? Mercer's right there. Harvard's right there. Those are the next 3 teams just outside.
Yep.
And they all had solid wins. I mean, a 3-1 Mercer, 3-0 in the SoCon is, that's respectable. 2-0 Harvard. The 2-3 incarnate word not going to be in mine.
Can we have a different fun taco bet that's not even – it's a hypothetical taco bet.
Go.
And I just want to talk about this hypothetical. Let's say Presbyterian only loss is the St. Thomas, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say Furman or Mercer wins the SoCon. Does the Pioneer League get 2 bids? If Presbyterian, I get they have 2, but if they have wins over the SoCon champs,
no.
What if Mercer and Furman finish 1 and 2 in the SoCon? Presbyterian has a win over
it could be a yes.
That should be they deserve it.
I think it could be a yes because we've seen MEAC and SWAC teams with probably
their second team in.
Their second team gets in, and the strength of schedule is not great, but it's just literally not the auto bid. So I think
their
based
strength of
schedule,
schedule, their expected strength of schedule is next to last.
Correct, but if Furman and Mercer are the top 2 teams in the SoCon, and one of them gets in the playoffs, and Presbyterian has a win over both, that would be some shady issues not giving them a bid.
Oh man, in that situation, I'm going to take them in. I'm going to take them in that situation.
I would put them in. Let's go Pioneer League.
Y'all would put them in, but the committee's not going to. If they don't win the Pioneer, they're not going to get in.
What about a little preview there, Kyler? We're going to be doing the mock playoff special, which is psycho to think about is like 7 weeks away, which is actually insane.
Those 2 sub D1s are hurting them for sure.
Yeah.
But man, those 2 wins against the SoCon teams, if they continue to win out in the SoCon, that at least makes it fun. That at least makes it intriguing to where if you put your thinking cap on, you go, that team should be in above these 2 teams, and they're in the playoffs.
Well, I am going to disagree with Jamie and think that people will harm South Dakota. Now, maybe I just saw what they were live, so I'm just.
How long have you been watching this poll to know that outside of me,
they'll be 24.
Tim, Zach, Sam, and maybe like 4 other people are going to pay attention to what they should be?
I look at
people are going to be like, oh, they played NDSU. That's not a bad loss.
I look at Kevin's poll. I follow him on Twitter. It's typically extremely solid. No
Kevin's
joke.
Got a solid poll.
I look at Kevin's
Kevin always
poll.
has a solid poll.
Jamie's poll.
Okay, I don't know what Kevin has. 22. I don't know what Kevin has this week. Has he done it this week?
I'm gonna go
under 22.
I'm kind of agreeing with Jamie. I think it's gonna be over at 23.
Oh, it's a good line though, right?
That is a good line.
Somebody said a hell of a line, that's for sure.
Yeah, might have been a little pre-show action. All right, that was a long taco bet, so let's get into the quick ones.
Just because your question is answered quickly doesn't mean we don't care. It's time for this week's Quick Hit Questions.
Quick hit questions, gentlemen, as you know, my favorite segment personally. Okay, starting it off with Jordan. He says, and we'll go right to you, Jamie. You're wearing the shirt. Why do Montana fans constantly talk about their stadium like they're the only ones to sell out games every week?
Because they think they got to put it on the table, and they really don't. Just let the stadium be what it is. Go play your games and win, and shut the hell up about your stadium and your attendance and all that other bull crap.
Tony Romo once said,
Who cares what Tony Romo said?
That's what I'm saying. Tony Romo once said, it's louder than Seattle, and that quote is all over social media. Griz fans put that all the time. All the time.
And it's so wrong. There's literally...
Tony Romo has CTE.
He does. Now, the only thing I will say is if you are a player, there's a potential chance it does feel a little louder because the fans, the student section are right next to you. Now, maybe the student section moved up. I think they moved up, but the fans are right on top of you. There's no sideline. So it might feel louder if you're on the sideline for sure.
Yeah, it's super loud. The Bison players on the D2 team that won there said it was super loud. So
there you go.
Steven says the early auto bid picks with 1 week conference down. So 1 week of conference play down. Early auto bid picks. Boy, I mean, I don't think anyone's bold enough at this point to pick Big Sky with that Cat Griz game. I don't think anyone's bold enough to pick the Missouri Valley at this point. Are you looking across like Tennessee Tech and some of these others, Jamie and Kyler, where you're like,
book Tennessee Tech to the Big South OVC? Book it.
Okay. Yeah, you can book NDSU too. I'll be bold enough.
Okay.
I don't think that's even that bold.
Kyler's big on the Bison. We'll have to see. I don't know, Steven. I think there's actually a lot more competitive conference play than people can even realize. How about the CAA?
Tarleton.
You want to put Tarleton in there? Yep. CAA, you want to put Rhode Island up there?
Maybe, but I'm not ready to book it because Monmouth's offense is going to play with everybody.
All right. We'll see how it goes. Who has been the biggest surprise offensively, says Cody Wellman. Kyler, you want to go with an offense there? You want to go with a player? Who's the biggest surprise offensively?
I'm actually going to go Montana. That's a cop-out answer, but I thought their offense would kind of struggle, but they kind of are starting to get a three-headed monster there. In if they can continue to improve every single week, that offense is going to look a little bit better because, they struggled that first half against Central Washington, where I was like, ooh, this offense looks kind of like the last few years of Montana, and then after that, they played a whole different level of football, in my opinion. So, Montana's offense surprisingly looks pretty dang efficient.
We're complimenting the Griz tonight. Mike Olson says that the Bison players from 23 think.
There you go.
Hey, here's the truth. Brian Thompson, former Bison player, we know him well. He says Bison players say from that 2015, 23, they say nothing is like Griz. They say it's a wild environment, and kudos to them. It's cool for the FCS to have those type of things. Biggest surprise offensively as well. I'll bring my bias out. I cannot believe how Cole Payton throws the ball. I never in a billion years, to include the tweets I won't delete that I'm getting ripped apart on from Bison fans, would have ever thought that Cole Payton would throw the ball he is. I also didn't think that he would run 70% like Trey Lance and just absolutely weave his way through people like it's nothing. It's wild what Cole Payton is doing, to be honest.
Oh, can I throw out another one? And it's the
that was going to be my answer, Matt.
I'm very surprised at Sac State's lack of offense. I thought that Go-Go was going to be a different beast. And, they were puffing their chests after their win over Mercyhurst, thinking they were back. Their offense does not look good. They turn over the ball a lot. I'm surprised by their offense. Almost more than anyone else, I'm surprised in a positive manner.
Yeah, the no-go offense is nowhere to be seen.
For me, another one is UC Davis having to replace Hastings and Larison, and still looking really good on that side of the ball. So I think they've definitely proven that they've got what it takes.
Jamie, who is the front runner for the Buck Buchanan Award? Jordan wants to know.
I'm gonna go to the SoCon here. Joshua Stone King of Furman has 10.5 tackles for loss, which leads the FCS. There's also Andrew Zock, who is the evergreen. He's just a really good player, and Stone King also leads in sacks as well. I think he's got 6.5. So I'm mostly impressed by sacks and tackles for loss because you can just have a volume of tackles. There's a kid from Fordham who has 15 tackles a game, and that's usually a linebacker. So guess what? You're tackling the running back that's 8 yards downfield already. So a lot of times if you're in coverage, but a lot of linebackers get up in there. But I'm gonna go Stone King. He looks really good so far, and we've got enough data points so we can kind of start looking at that. I'm glad somebody didn't ask about the Walter Payton because I don't want to hear people talking about Cole Payton quite yet, but he's going to be in the discussion.
Time for Payton for the Payton talk to start. Okay, premier matchup.
Hopefully not, because I'm tired of hearing Brian bring it up every damn week. We got it. You like him. You called it. You call the Bison quarterback every damn year, and
I was going to say every single year.
It's not that hard to say you called it. Hey, you called it that NDSU was going to be really good. Great job.
Too good. We love the king. Premier matchups is what Jeremiah Rash wants to know. What are your premier FCS matchups next Saturday? I think there are some obvious ones you guys can tag on. I tried to think of some off-the-wall ones to include. We have Yale going to Lehigh. Yale is undefeated right now out of the Ivy League and going to Lehigh. I think that could be a quality matchup. The other one I think that could be kind of sneaky good is Villanova going to New Hampshire. New Hampshire's 2-2. They were outside the top 25. I think they were receiving some votes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie. And now you got
New Hampshire just fell out and Villanova's in. Yeah.
Okay. And Villanova just got a quality win this last week, or at least got back up on the horse. So I think those are some games to definitely pay attention to. Any other ones besides our NAU, Montana State ones that pop off for either of you guys? What do you got?
West Georgia versus Awesome P. You mentioned it earlier. I think that's like the true testament because Awesome P looks good. And West Georgia, I mean, they're playing at a pretty damn unreal level too. So that's going to be really exciting to see which one pops off with that win.
Honestly, there should be a ton of attention put on the FCS this week when you have South Dakota State going to Youngstown State. That's a ranked game. And so will South Dakota State make Youngstown look silly like NDSU did with USD? Will it actually be kind of close? Who knows? SFA Incarnate Word. Jamie, am I leaving you any scraps here?
There was where'd it go? There was had just scrolled. There was whoever Furman plays. Gosh darn it, ETSU. Furman ETSU is going to be a big one in the SoCon. Mercer's kind of got that early lead, but I was high on ETSU, and it's not looking like it's going to hold up as well as I thought. Furman looks solid. I mean, outside of that back and forth game which they lost last second to Presbyterian, they beat everybody else, including an okay William and Mary team, which isn't saying much, that's gonna start to, because if Furman can win that game, they can. Again, we talk about Presbyterian running the Pioneer League. If they run that, then if that winds up being Furman's only lost outside of if they wind up losing to Mercer, then that makes them look a lot better.
It's honestly
another SoCon team in.
Dude, honestly, this is a great week for FCS football if you have ESPN Plus or whatever to be bouncing around, because that's a lot of impact games when you look at it. So Zachary says, what are the most Jekyll and Hyde teams so far this season? Zach Carlton, the man. Jekyll and Hyde. Kyler, anybody come to your mind where you're like back and forth and left and right? Any team like that?
Not really.
It's been consistent, like we said. 3-0s, 1 losses, nothing.
The only one is maybe Incarnate Word, right? They've looked bad, they've looked good, they've looked bad, they've looked good. That's kind of the only one that I'm thinking of that kind of tips off the top of my head where I go, maybe. That's about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe in Idaho, but Idaho is what they are. It's not like it's back and forth. So yeah, I like your answer with the word there.
Maybe SFA.
Yeah, they've looked a little Jekyll and Hyde-ish too, especially when you just compare their offense to defense.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Bill Dent says the code. They're all whatever the bad one is.
Oh man, poor Yotes. Can we talk about if strength of schedule really is impactful on measuring how good a team truly is? Says Ref. I think it matters a little bit. I think people let go of the eye test too much, though. I think they look too much into a schedule and a team, and you can be like, how does a team look? Example, South Dakota State last year, obviously a good team. But if you watch Jackrabbit Illustrated and you follow those guys on Twitter, they were mentioning what the eye test was showing in the lack of the passing game and some of the other issues, which cost them small margins and big moments. That's my opinion. Any disagreement there, boys?
No, it's if the eye test is, because again, some schedules are made, seasons and seasons in advance, but if the eye test is overcoming the strength of schedule, then it's a difference. Like if you're blowing out teams and your strength of schedule is awful, okay, well, fair enough. That's where it's maybe a point to take. Now, if your strength of schedule is awful and you're getting just these close wins, you're just battling out, then even if you're 8-0, you go, all right, yeah, but your strength of schedule sucks. That's why you've been competitive. So there's a difference in what like Tarleton's doing, even if their strength of schedule, which isn't that bad right now. I know people are trashing on it. It's not that bad, but Tarleton's blowing out people. So they're doing exactly what you would think a top 4 team would do despite their strength of schedule, even though it's not that bad.
Strength of schedule is just another data point that you use to analyze a team.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, we will answer any question that's thrown at us, and our last 2 are on those topics, which is anything. The great Kyler Elliott, who are your picks for October baseball / the World Series if you care about baseball? Kyler? Huh? Chris is talking about some team.
Chris is a poser. We used to go to Kingdom games all the time. Here's the thing. I'm rooting for my Mariners really tough. I don't have faith that they're going to, go to the World Series and win out in October. But they are one of the hottest teams outside this last series, which I don't think they cared about because they already clinched, so who cares? But the last month and a half, they've been the hottest team in MLB. So let's go Mariners. But again, am I going to put a lot of money down to watch them lose in October? Probably not, because I don't have a lot of faith because I'm a Mariners fan. But we love what we're doing right this year. So go Mariners.
Go Mariners. I am not a baseball guy at all, but my brother-in-law he's from Vegas originally. He loves the Dodgers, and I know people hate the Dodgers. So
Absolutely.
It looks like the Astros are not in it because he says I'm supposed to hate Houston and then help him cheer for the Dodgers. But also, I wouldn't mind if the Yankees won because I'm a Cowboys fan. And it would make people so mad to see the big powerhouse team, which represents America, which is the Yankees, win again. So, go Yankees, Duke, Notre Dame, Cowboys, Lakers. Go
that sounds
America.
about right for you.
Look at that Griffey up there. What a beautiful guy.
Damn right.
Look at that Griffey up there. What a beautiful guy.
Did you ever meet him? Because that's the final question of the big quick hits here. Jordan says,
Well, it's no baseball for me, huh? And you don't even like it.
You pointed away. All right, go.
I pointed to Kyler to go first.
Okay, go baseball, Katie. Go.
Screw the Dodgers, screw the Yankees, screw the Red Sox, screw the Phillies. Thank God the Mets. Screw the Mets. They didn't even make it because they suck. The World Series that everybody wants, or at least that I want, that nobody really wants, that'll be the worst watch World Series. I want the Mariners versus the Brewers. Gosh darn it!
That wouldn't be the worst watch. That would light up the scoreboard. Let's go, baby.
The ratings would suck. People want the Dodgers versus the Yankees, and screw them both.
Gross.
People
want the little man.
Guys, Thumper's looking right now, and he is all about those Brewers. Is he not? He's a Brewers fan, unless I'm wrong on that.
He is a Brewers fan. Yep.
There we go. Yep. Small.
And if whoever beats the Brewers, they're going to be in the World Series. You can almost bank on it if they lose.
Besides our Jackrabbit Illustrated friends, besides Kevin, besides the Rev, besides the great Ron Lowney and everybody else, Capdan and all these humans, the final question is, besides all of those people, who is the most famous person you've ever met? This comes from Jordan. Jamie, who is it? The most famous person you've ever met?
It's probably gotta be, Alex Ovechkin. It's gotta be him.
Mm-hmm. That's top tier right there.
I went to high school with Denny Hamlin, but a lot of people, if you don't even like hockey, you know who Alex Ovechkin is. I've met him.
That's pretty legit. Kyler, what do you got?
I've met some famous people, but they're not famous anymore. But I've had a couple beers with Rashad Evans once when he was the title holder for the UFC. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. At a Denver bar, he was a nice guy who was a little bit drunk, trying to flirt with some girl that was probably he could have done better, but that's besides the point. And then probably Frank Thomas. At the time, I thought Frank Thomas got his autograph. Got to meet him. I thought he was pretty cool. So those were the two that are sticking out to me. But I've been
Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones is another one for me. Another one for me.
That's legit. I could mention just from my military time some politicians, but it'll piss everybody off, so I'll stick outside of that. However, I will stick to my military time. In the Marines, they used to put us out to make money for base morale events. They would let us do security. You'd be one of those people with yellow shirts as security. I did it for like Toby Keith's concert and Linkin Park and stuff, dating myself. But we did the Oscars one year, and me and a young man from Ohio, everyone got on the red carpet but us. We got in the back of the theater outside of a door, and we stood there for like 4 to 5 hours and nothing happened. And everybody else they weren't on the red carpet. They were still pretty far away, but they were in the front, so they at least got to see people walking. So we were just complaining the whole time. Then the whole thing ends, and these guys come running out. They open these one double doors, and they put all this red carpet out and these things, and they go, all right, they're walking to the after party from here, so make sure no one gets through this door. We were like, oh, crap. Casey McElroy was the guy's name I was with. And Sandra Bullock walks out, and she goes right up to us, and she says, is this the door we're supposed to go in? And we were like, yes, ma'am, right here. And she goes, thanks. So I didn't really meet her, but she said words to me. And it was cool.
That's almost like you almost proposed. You were so close.
She was in a gold dress. I was tongue-tied. I was 19. It was crazy. I still have the little Oscars like security badge thing at my house. And Woody Harrelson had like 2 glasses of wine, was stumbling out, and Morgan Freeman had 2 girls, one on each side, just walking through. It was awesome. Yeah. And Quentin Tarantino is very tall in person. Very tall. So there you go. Little North Dakota, and got to see some famous people. And I get to spend every single Sunday night with famous people, Kyler and Jamie, even though it's only an hour and a half, because this does bring us to the end of the FCS Fans Nation podcast for this episode. And we're really looking forward to a ton of matchups that are coming up this weekend. Kyler, we missed you last week, so I want to give you the final moment on the floor here before you go see that your Packers are down 3 at halftime.
Yeah, it's not my day. It's not my weekend. Mariners got swept for the first time ever. Eastern looked pitiful. The good news is, if we're going to keep it on football, there's an opportunity for Eastern to get a win next week when we play 0-4 Portland State. Now, there's also an opportunity. We might be on a bye, and then it's Portland State after, but who cares? Our next game, I think, is Portland State, so we have an opportunity to get a win, or you guys may never see me again, and YouTube will flag this episode because I may hang myself. We'll see. It's one of the 2 options. Either it's going to be live on the air, or I'm going to win. And it can be something that I get to celebrate on. So YouTube, the fate is in your hands. Donate some money to Eastern, so then maybe we can win a game.
Oh boy, we decided to start doing some of these live, and Kyler's like, "This is on you. Just remember,
this is on you.
This is on you." Well, if it's on us, we will take every single Kyler ridiculous comment. We'll take Jamie's knowledge, and we'll take Matt slipping up every single question with something stupid. But no matter what, we're having fun doing it. We enjoy having you guys along the ride. Thanks for commenting and joining us live. Make sure to subscribe to FCS Gold and link below if you'd like to. Besides that, tons of slates of games, as we mentioned. Enjoy them, and we'll catch you next week. Boom!